Welcome, I'm Rebecca Hinckley,
And I'm Autumn Draper.
and we're here today to talk to you about an adaptive technology called Google Read and Write, which is a Google Chrome extension. So what is this Chrome extension? Well, it's a text-to-speech and speech-to-text software. So essentially it allows text to be read aloud. You can create voice notes or practice reading aloud and dictate text. There are both textual and visual dictionaries available for your reading, along with the ability to create vocabulary lists through samples of reading or text that you have asked the program to go through. For your writing, there's word prediction. And again, for the reading, this program can simplify or summarize text. So what we've done on this slide is we've created a video for you to go in at your own time and go ahead and view. And in this video, I've just demonstrated how this software or extension can be used on your Chrome extension. There are a lot of devices that this extension can be used on, or the software can be used on, and we'll talk about those later. But for this video, I just talked through, or tutorial, how you can use this software on the Chrome extension. And you'll see me go through each one of these features on the toolbar and walk you through how they can be used on a text. So I encourage you to go back into this presentation and look and see how this software works.
So for this next slide, I went ahead and looked at the reviews on Google of this extension, and a lot of them talked about how finicky the extension is. So I think it's really important when you're using this to get a lot of time practicing it before you show it to students, and then give the students ample time to practice in the classroom before you expect them to use it outside of the classroom. So both Stuart and Cheryl are both teachers, and they both discussed how helpful it is using it with students that struggle reading and writing. Cheryl specifically talks about how to use it in special education, while Stuart is more about how we've been doing this, like distance learning, and how it's helped him so much with his students that struggle to read and write. So here we have the implications for special education. And I'm just going to go through them real quick and give you a description of what's going on here. So these low order tasks are things like decoding and spelling and things like that that are blocks for students. And if they can't do those low order things that we all take for granted, like spelling or decoding words, they're putting all of their energy into that, and they're not able to do the higher order tasks like comprehension. So students are reading and they're putting all their energy into decoding, and then when they get done, they have no idea what they read because they didn't comprehend any of it. Students' skills improve. So as they're working with this program, they're exposed to so much text, more than they would be if they were doing it by themselves. Specifically, an example would be if a student is dictating and the program makes a mistake and doesn't dictate exactly what the student wants. They have to go back and make a correction, but they have to read all of the examples or all of the choices that the program gives them very carefully because they're very similar. That's forcing them to read and interact with text more. Because of those two previous things, their comprehension improves. If you don't have we just had a tiny technical difficulty there. So like I was saying before, comprehension improves because students aren't doing all of that low order work. They're able to put all of their energy on this higher level skill of comprehending. And finally, students may be more engaged and more motivated. So students are suddenly way more independent than they were before. They don't need to ask someone, a teacher or an aide, to write for them. They don't need to ask for someone to tell them what a word means because of that dictionary component, and they don't need someone to read to them. because that program does all of those things. Some research that I read preparing for this actually supported the idea that students were writing longer and more complex pieces when they had programs like Google Read and Write.
So we'll talk really briefly about the costs involved with Google Read and Write. There are several free features, and when you go into the PowerPoint and you click this link, it'll take you to this great spreadsheet that talks about what free features are on which different platform. But everything I show you in the demonstration or tutorial in the previous slide will show you free features that you can use without payment. If you were to go buy an individual user premium, so with everything, it would cost you $145 for a year-long subscription. Now, that's if you're not a teacher. Premium is available for free for teachers on their individual devices. And then there is a group rate if your school district is looking for that. So it's $12 per student for a group. So let's say you want to get your whole 8th grade class this extension, that would be $12 per student. And if you want to get your whole district this extension, it'd be $1.80 per student. So it does get more financially viable once you get larger numbers. But again, as a teacher, you have access to this premium feature for free, so long as you have a school district and a school email. I couldn't give you a tutorial or a demonstration using the premium features because I am not a teacher yet, and I couldn't sign up for that. But if you do have access to that, I encourage you to go explore that. And each one of these different links you'll see in this slide will take you to the cost page for its corresponding, teacher, student, or group cost. There are some system requirements when it comes to this Google Read and Write extension. You can use it on your iPad, your Android, your Mac, your Windows, your Microsoft Edge, your Google Chrome. All of these things have the ability to put this extension on those devices, but different things will be available. So the thing that offers the most free options and the most on premium is Google Chrome. The second most available features when considering free and prime was Microsoft Edge, and then the next was Mac and Windows. And finally, the iPad and Android had significantly less features available. Part of that is because when you're on an Android, like say your cellular device, it's a lot harder to work through these features. And so I imagine that really took an impact on how they were able to implement that technology on that device. But depending upon the features desired, you'll have to decide what device you need to be using. Generally, you can get everything you need on either a Mac or Windows, or using Microsoft Edge or Chrome as your internet browser. Down here at the bottom right corner, you'll see a feature comparison matrix. Again, that's going to take you to this wonderful spread of what is available on which device. So if you need to make sure that there's a certain feature in this extension you want to use with your student, this is a great place to go look and make sure it's available.
So I went ahead and found some alternative resources in case you don't use Google Chrome and don't have access to Google Read and Write. So Helperbird, Read Aloud, and Natural Reader are all other extensions that you can use. These three I've used personally. Helperbird does have a font, the dyslexia font, and it will change any type you see on your screen to the dyslexia font, which makes the bottom of the type look heavier so they don't move around on the screen as much. But all three of these things will read aloud to you. They don't all have dictation. Moving to Google Docs voice typing software, Apple Dictation, and Windows speech recognition. Those are all things that you can find on your computer, so it just depends on what type of computer you have. Speech Notes is another program, and then Dragon Naturally Speak is actually a paid one. I wouldn't suggest looking into this unless you know your school has money to spend on this, because this one's $300. Speak It and iWrite are both apps that you can get. I've heard a lot of good things about iWrite. It actually has all of the same features as Google Read and Write. So if you're looking for something for a class iPad or phones, iPhones, whatever, I would say look into iRead and Write.
And then finally, we just have a slide that's full of our resources and annotated bibliography. This is where we got a lot of information as far as the uses of this software in the school system and why it could be helpful to use in your classroom. We just wanted to say thanks. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either myself or Autumn on email, and you can always visit this link, Google Read and Write, to learn more. This presentation template was created by SlidesGo. It includes icons by Flaticon and infographics and images by Freepik. If you are interested in SlidesGo, you can talk to either Autumn or I again via email, and we can give you that information. Thanks so much.
Thank you.